Hello, and welcome to the RealRam fam. On my channel, I intend to provide you with a safe platform to discuss the intersections of your entire being, to be able to be comfortable in your own skin, in mission or position. There is no one like you, and we all have a purpose and message. I, for one, am a black woman, mother of four, a military veteran, and a wife, and a social worker, just to name a few. From my channel, I hope that you learn more about military families and social workers. Three of the social work values are my aim in each video: importance of human relationships, dignity and worth of the person, and social justice. No matter what you initially think when you hear social worker, there is more to the profession. Trust me. Stay locked in by subscribing to the channel and be sure that you hit that notifications bell so you don't miss any new uploads. Without further ado, on to today's episode.
What's up, Ram fam? So today is part 3 of my veterans special. And so I got another Air Force veteran with me today, and I'm gonna start off with the Air Force fact. I don't have any for today, which is October 24th. I found October 23rd in 1909, and this comes from the Air Force Historical Foundation. So, on October 23rd, 1909, following the acceptance of the 1909 flyer, Army aviation activities were moved to College Park, Maryland, which is perfect for today's guest, where a larger flying field was available. On October 8th, Wilbur Wright began giving flying lessons to Lieutenants Frank Lamb and Frederick Humphreys. Lieutenant Humphreys soloed on October 26th, becoming the Army's first pilot, in quotes, and Lieutenant Lamb soloed several minutes later. And I'm just going to stop right there. We know what that means, us Air Force personnel. So today, I have with me Robert Naylor Jr. So please welcome him to the show. I met him when I was stationed at Pope Air Force Base in North Carolina. Rob, you can go ahead and introduce the rest of how we met and whatever else you would like to say about
Okay.
your.
Yeah. So speaking of North Carolina, Pope Air Force Base. They call it No Hope Pope, but that was my first base, so I didn't know what to compare it to. I just knew it was better than tech school and better than basic training. So uh, I had hope at Pope, and I kind of enjoyed it because I think that laid the foundation for my Air Force career. Because funny enough, though, I was supposed to go to my first base was supposed to be in Korea. Now we all know the stories and the tales about Korea, right? So as a 19-year-old, I'm kind of glad I didn't go to Korea. My career probably would have turned out a whole lot different. But I ended up swapping with my roommate. Actually, that's how I got to go to North Carolina, go to Pope. So went to Pope. Um, I don't know. I was,
Now,
you
don't
know,
go too far. Don't go too far.
okay.
Don't give them all that just yet. Don't go. So I already told them that you was Air Force.
Yeah.
So what was your job? Or is that's gonna be the
Oh,
next question. Your job.
yeah. So my AFSC, I'm a 2S soup. Y'all know the rest. I
You gotta say it for the folks who don't know.
Oh,
What's that
soup
mean?
soup. Damn right. That's just what we say. That's our saying. Whenever somebody yells soup, you follow with the damn right. You know they are real to us. So yeah, that's my job in the Air Force. I'm still currently serving active duty. I just hit 20 years in May of this year. Oh my goodness, it's been a roller coaster ride. Uh, but I plan on retiring probably next year, depending on how
Mhm.
this current position plays out. Um, but yeah, 20 years in, I love it. I've loved it, and I still love it right now. But I'm trying to get into the mindset of sort of transition. I know we'll probably talk about that a little later, but transitioning from the Air Force mindset.
Mhm.
My dad jokes. Well, my parents they like to joke. and say I know the old school uh version of it. They say you ate up or whatever. You know, you bleed blue, all of that, which I don't, but sometimes I do. I guess I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So it's gonna it's. I remember when I was a young airman when I first came in. I said I'm gonna do well. I wanted to make my goal was to make chief in 20 years. I wanted to be the chief master sergeant of the universe, right? And I said 20 years I'll be a chief, retire at 20 years in one day, and then ride off into the sunset,
Yeah.
right? But as we know, life be lifing, and it don't always work out like that, but it does always work out like it should happen. So, yeah, that's that part.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and try to do this the way that I plan to this time.
Okay.
And we're gonna do our icebreaker before we get into our two icebreakers.
All right. Let's go.
So, do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I have an older sister.
Uh-huh. And
And
where do you fall?
I guess I would be kind of in the middle because, all right, so are we talking biological siblings or blended family siblings? Because I don't like my blended family siblings. I honestly don't consider them anything other than my real brother and sister. But I know
However you classify yourself, where would you fall?
I would say I'm in the
You
middle because
first,
I
the middle?
yeah, I'm in the middle because I have an older sister and a younger sister that's biological. So I'm right there in the middle.
Okay. Does these character traits identify, do they explain you pretty well?
Let's see. Middleborns feels left out, peacemaker, social, adaptable, peace, people pleaser. Can be rebellious. Oh yeah, for sure. Independent. Oh yeah, for sure. And go between. What's the go between part? I don't know. Is there more to that
I
one?
I think yeah, you're the person who's basically in the middle.
Oh, the go. Okay, I
You
got
you
you.
can't make up your mind and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah, super independent. Been that way since I was little. I used to, when I was I was the like my older sister, so she didn't live with us, but she came to visit, right? So when
Hmm.
I was the only child, I had to entertain myself a lot. So I got really good at that. So I guess that plays into me being independent. Um, but yeah, I've been rebellious my whole life, I think. That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I got this other one. So where do you call home? Where
Uh
you from?
so so I call Waldorf, Maryland home. Um, know that it's Maryland, not I don't know how people not from Maryland say Maryland, but I know how it's spelled, but that's incorrect how it's spelled. It's Maryland. Okay. Uh I can give everybody a spelling lesson on that later. But yeah, I'm Waldorf, Maryland's home. Um, although I am from a military family, uh we moved to Maryland when I was like fifth grade. So basically that's all I remember, to be honest. I mean, I was born in New Mexico. Uh those who know me, they joke and be like, "You from Mexico?" No, New Mexico. I was born there. I don't remember nothing about it for real. I was little when I grew up, and then we went to Guam. My dad was stationed in Guam, and then for like 3 years, 2, 3 years, and then Maryland. So
Okay.
Waldorf is home.
All right. So we got a cultural thing we finna do here.
Okay,
Okay. All right. You see that?
I see the guest opener. Welcome. What
Okay.
are these? Okay, all right. What are
Right.
these? How do you say this?
Okay.
Okay, water,
How you say? I can't hear you.
water.
Okay.
Oh man. Two, two, two. Y'all funny. Two. Type of hair.
Just the H word. The H word.
Oh, hair, 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 hair.
The H
You
word.
you are here. Here. You are here. Oh, you said just the H word. Okay. Uh so do I have to say each brand or just the shoe?
Just what are those?
Oh, shoes. Shopping cart. Oh, I don't even know. That's the little basket. The little basket. I don't know. I just call it a little basket. I don't know. The little handheld jump. Uh oh, I know people call that's a pocketbook, but I
Okay.
don't see. I don't, yeah, pocketbook.
Okay.
That's a purse. Oh, that's somewhere you don't want to be when it's dark outside. Uh, alleyway. Uh, yeah,
Okay.
just don't be there. Don't, especially in Baltimore. Don't be there when it's dark outside, or DC, Southeast to be specific. Uh, you know what? That looks like the room we were not allowed, the forbidden room. We wasn't allowed to go into a certain room. In the house. So,
I know. So it's not necessarily the room that I'm looking for.
uh-huh.
It's the where's my arrow won't the
Yeah,
it's the
living room. Oh,
entrance way.
the doorway.
Oh,
Foyer.
okay.
The foyer.
Okay.
Mm, that's like a icy cup. I don't know.
A what cup?
Icy cup.
Okay.
Oh, that's the same thing. The icy cup. You get from the candy lady and stuff like that. 25 cents. Fill in the blank. That's a boatload of stuff. Oh, I know what we used to call those, but like being politically correct and a little bit older, I don't really call it that no more. I
Well,
just
what
say
you call it?
I just call that a tank top.
Okay. Well, what you used to call it? We ain't
Oh,
gotta
we
be politically correct.
so we used to call them white beaters when we ain't know no better, right?
Okay. Okay. This is I'm talking. This is a cultural thing.
Yeah, it's a white beater, but
When a certain individual comes on and does their turn, you'll see there's two different cultures in my house.
okay, yeah.
So
So it's
there's
a
I
difference.
want to know what other people
Mm,
call things. There's a reason.
I gotta go back whenever he comes on. I want to watch the difference is.
Yeah, there's you know. So I've had a lot of DMV people on so far,
Uh huh.
and we kind of matching. We
Okay.
kind of matching, but yeah. So we're gonna yeah we gonna see. Right. I can't give my answers away. I'm just interested to see what other people call things.
Listen, when I first came into the Air Force, and they used to laugh at me because that's when my Maryland slang was really slanging, and they were like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Y'all don't understand what I'm saying." So yeah, I get it, but I've been around a little bit, so it's a little different now.
Okay. All right. So we have you didn't separate. You're still active duty right now.
Hmm.
Why? Nope. So you still in that? I'm looking at the wrong question right now.
Hmm.
So you hinted at it. So my question is like most of us black people,
Hmm.
we have other members in the military. So you've already said that you're from a military family.
Hmm.
So who in your family served in the military?
So my dad served. Excuse me, and then my mom, which is not she's not my biological mom, but I don't call her my stepmom, but my mom, my biological mom passed away when I was 8 years old. But my mom, now she both of them were in. Yeah.
That's
So
it? Just your parents?
yeah, just because my dad, I believe, as far as I know, my dad was the first one in my family, my immediate family to go into the military. And that was kind of the story he tells me is funny. It was just like kind of on a whim type of thing. Like he was just tired of he was driving, trucks, Coca-Cola. He didn't want, and then there's another story behind why he actually went in. But yeah, yeah.
Okay. That one's different so far. Okay. All right. What made you decide to join?
Oh, that's a good one. So I used to sit in commanders calls. I'm gonna go back to the why in a minute, but I used to sit in commanders calls and listen to people's like cool GI Joe story, or like I always wanted to go in the military story, and I'd be like, man, that's not me at all. But I even though I grew up in a military household, I swore that I would never go into anybody's military. And I don't know why that is. I just didn't want to go in the military. Actually, I thought I was going to the NBA, but that's a whole nother story. But what ended up happening was I went to college. I was playing basketball, but school wasn't really my thing. So little did I know you actually have to care about school if you want to like be there. So ended up kind of losing interest in it a little bit. But while in college, my freshman year, I had my son, my oldest son. So that is the reason why I really made the leap and went into the Air Force. I feel like if it wasn't the Air Force, I really wasn't. I didn't really see another option except for just the Air Force. That's all I tried to go in, and I, went in the Air Force. But having my son was the reason that I really made the leap and went into the Air Force.
Okay. Well, that was my next question. Was the Air Force your first choice?
Yeah, that was my only
Okay.
choice.
Well, why? Why was that?
Honestly, that's all I really knew was the Air Force. That's all I really knew. And then the only thing I knew about the military was stereotypes. Outside of what I witnessed with like my dad, because when I was little, I used to go to work with my dad. Like he was security forces, so I used to see security forces all the time. Then I would see like the only other thing I knew about the Air Force jobs were services. But my idea of
Mm,
services was the guys I saw working at the gym because I used to play basketball all the time at the gym,
yeah.
and their job looked kind of easy. So I was like, oh, when I go in the if I go in the Air Force, I'm gonna do that because I could like check IDs and then go play basketball. Like that's what I thought I'd be doing. But yeah, that's pretty much what it was. And I didn't know anything about the army. Army, I saw all I knew was what I saw on TV. And I didn't want to like go on the front lines and shoot no guns and battle no, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to do that. Marines, they seemed a little crazy. And then like once I met a lot of them, I realized that wasn't even a stereotype. That was true. And then the Navy, yeah, ships, nah. But yeah, I didn't see any other option except for the Air Force, to be honest.
Okay. So walk us through the night before and the day that you left for basic training.
Oh, so the night before, honestly, I don't remember a lot of it because a lot of that is a blur. But I will tell you, my little sister, she always reminds me of how much of a jerk I was as I was leaving. But really, I wasn't trying to be a jerk. You know how I did when you're leaving. I just had like, what do you call it? Like I just had these goggles
Tunnel
on. I was
vision?
tunnel vision. I had tunnel vision. I knew that I didn't really want to go in, but I needed to go in, and I kind of wanted to go in. I didn't know what to expect. I had like a fear of the unknown. And at the time, my my son's mom was pregnant, so I was dealing with that because he wasn't born until 3 days after I got to basic training. So
Mm,
he was supposed to be born before I left, but you know how that goes. Babies come when babies come. So it just all worked out kind of weird like that. So I do remember. I don't remember the night before, but I'm assuming it was something about. I mean, she was super pregnant, so I don't know what that was. Uh, Probably just thinking about how I didn't want to leave, and then the day that I left, I do remember that. I remember getting on the little end of the van, and this is the part where my little sister said I was a jerk because she was all sentimental and stuff like that, with the goodbyes. And I can't remember the exact words, but she said I was very cold and kind of like told her stop crying. I don't know, but I was just trying to get up out of there, go do what I had to do so I can get back. That was it. And then I remember My MEP story was probably similar to everybody else's as far as it seemed like it was fun, the hotel and all of that stuff. And then we got off that bus in Lackland, or well, we got to Lackland. We pulled up. It was nighttime when we pulled up, so we pulled
Mhm.
up, or yeah, it was late night, early morning. Pulled up, and then it got real when the TI walked on the bus. Yeah, yeah. I still got PTS from that. 'Cause she was telling us to hurry up and get off the bus. We was hurrying, but then she like slow down, don't run, but hurry up. So when you first come in, you don't understand the difference between hurry up and slow down. You like, what are you talking? Okay, so hurry up but slow down. I don't get it. So yeah, it was a lot of confusion, a lot of tiredness, and yeah, that was a crazy introduction to the Air Force.
And how old were you?
19.
Yeah, okay. I was 17.
You were 17. See,
Yeah.
I know it had to be super crazy for you because like before I went into the, like I said, I was working and going to school. So like I never I never had that where, how some people like you probably like you came straight from high school to the military. I had sort of an in between a little bit, you know what I mean? I mean 17, 19 not a huge difference, but that little bit of a difference I feel like kind of makes a difference, especially from hearing different people's stories. So like,
Mhm.
yeah, it was kind of crazy. I was like, what are we doing? Like I was confused. But you know, I figured it out quickly. I figured it out quickly.
Yeah, that that basic training was crazy. So from right there,
Uh-huh.
your 15 minutes to just share whatever you want to share about your military career. And I'm gonna turn on my heater.
Okay, so it's funny because whenever I talk to people, especially now, because I do my vendor events and stuff like that, or like people that just know that I'm in the military and they have kids that are at that age where they need to make a decision or approaching that age to make a decision. I was like, oh yeah, man, I need you to talk to my son or whatever. And I'm like, look, I'm not the ambassador for the Air Force. I'm not about to tell anybody's child to go in the military. Like I didn't even tell my own child to go to the military. My son that I was talking about, my oldest, he's actually in the Air Force right now. Um, Not because of me. I didn't tell him to go in.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I just let he took sort of a similar path as me. Like he tried life a little bit first, and then one day he called me and was like, "Hey, Dad, can you take me to see the recruiter for the reserves?" And I was like, "No, but I'll take you to see the recruiter for the active duty, and then you can make a decision based on whatever information you get." But all right, so my Air Force career, as far as the Air Force goes, like my Air Force career, I feel like I wish sometimes I wish I could have gotten more out of it in terms of traveling
Mhm.
because the only assignments I've had are Pope. From Pope, I went to Naval Station Norfolk. From Naval Station Norfolk, I went to Langley. And from Langley, I'm at Andrews. So East Coast living is all I've done. Other than deploying, I deployed a bunch of times. So I've been Afghanistan, Iraq, all of that. Um, but yeah, I'm grateful for my military career to be honest with you. Like the people that I met at
Mhm.
Pope, you're able to forge a bond with people, um, especially in our career field. Well, our career field at supply, I feel like just being able to get that AFSC was cool because I had no idea what supply was. Because funny story, so like my first job was supposed to be telephone systems. I don't know if a lot
Mhm.
of people know what that telephone systems apprentice. And yeah, so long story short, I reclassed out of that. I failed too many tests in that thing. So they put me in supply, and I was like, all right, cool. So I'm glad I'm in supply because now that I know what I know, it translates well onto into the outside if I wanted to do that. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, all in all, my Air Force career has been. I would say great. Um, that chief master sergeant of the universe thing kind of fell to the wayside once I started living the Air Force. You know how it goes in the Air Force. It's like you start understanding a little bit more. You're like, okay, I don't need that. I don't need to be at that level or doing that. You do what's best for you, right? And so I learned early on that I needed to look out for what I wanted to do once I'm done with the Air Force because I had some really good supervisors early on. Like they will always tell me stuff like, one day you'll be done with the Air Force or the Air Force will be done with you. So you got to figure out what you're going to do, whichever comes first. So I've been preparing for, that day for a long time. But lucky for me, while in the Air Force, I never been scared to kind of step outside and, follow my dreams as far as like entrepreneurship and what I want to do. So I think I started my businesses while I was an airman. Like this, like when I say it's been a journey and a grind, like it's been a journey and a grind.
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
Not
Cool.
yet.
So Air Force.
We need to learn. We needed to hear more about your Air Force career. It's only been 4 minutes.
So I gotta fit. So you gotta ask me specific questions about
I
my Air
don't
Force.
have that
'Cause-
specific. What do you want to? Okay, tell me about your first base, your first job. What
Okay.
was it like there? Then move on to the second base. Like,
Okay.
tell
I got you.
you know.
I got you. So my first job, we talked about it a little bit off before we came on, but I had some really good supervisors. I had really good people that I met when I first came in. Because when I first came in, I'm telling you, I was standing up and clicking my heels together for a senior airman. You know what I'm saying? I was that guy. I was
Mhm.
like, yo, I didn't know, but I worked in customer service. If anybody's a 2S or worked with 2S's, you know what customer service is,
You
which
got
was
to
a
talk to the people who don't know.
okay, so customer service, it translates to pretty much any industry outside of the Air Force when you think about customer service. Only ours deals with servicing um, the base, like Air Force members. So if they have an issue, we handled a lot of what they had on their what we call their equipment accounts. So any assets that they have on their account, it could be anything, printers, you name it, right? Like we keep up with all of that stuff. We do it's a whole lot to it, but just in a nutshell, that's pretty much what it is. You are customer service. If there's complaints, um, if they need to order parts, we order parts for them for the aircraft or whatever, or for non-aircraft and customer service. But we had another customer service aircraft parts store, which you order aircraft parts and stuff like that specifically. But I had really good supervisors, man. Like I remember so they taught me a lot about how to go get it for yourself. When I say go get it for yourself, I'm talking about like information wise. Like I remember to this day, I don't know if she remembers, but I had a supervisor, one of my supervisors, Sergeant Vargas. I remember she was like, we would ask her because we had, the regulations that we had to go by, right? And so a lot of us airmen, we would ask questions like without first consulting the black and white, which is the regulations. And I remember thinking she was the meanest person in the world at one point because when I asked her a question, she'd be like, I don't know, what does the reg say? And I didn't understand at the time that was going to help me later on, but I was like, you could just tell me. But yeah, so shout out to her because she people don't understand how the little things they do goes a long way. Like
Mhm.
that was 20 years ago, but it helped me throughout my entire career. Like who knows if she just gave me the answer, I'd probably be a lazy airman. I don't know, not
Mhm.
not really, but
Mhm.
you know what I
Mhm.
mean.
Yeah.
Like Sarah McGee, like you said, um, it's a lot of people. Sergeant Jackson. It's just a lot of people that I can go on about that helped shape me as an airman, and I would say even for NCOs, young NCOs, older NCOs, even older airmen, I guess you could say. That is something that I think people have to keep in mind is how much they impact another person's career. So for me, that was that. So at Pope, I was able to build a strong bond and a strong family, like to the point where we still interact today, like a lot of us. Like a lot of people don't know. That's where I met. I met Chief Wright. I still call him Chief Wright, but that was Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. So met him there because we used to all play ball together. So I knew him before he was Chief Wright. But those type of relationships that you're able to build carry on throughout. So like to this day, like I ran into him at the BX not too long ago here, and he stopped me. Like I don't know how. Well, he said he knew it was me because of how I walk. I guess I have a distinctive walk. I had my mask on, but he stopped me and we talked for a minute or whatever. But it's just those type of things that Pope was able to give me, man. Like that, I think that was the foundation for my career. Like I said, I was supposed to go to Korea, but I think, well, I guess the universe knew that for my foundation, I had to go to Pope first. And so I'm grateful for that. Then after that, went to Naval Station Norfolk. Now, people are probably saying, how did you get to Station Norfolk and why did you go there? Because that's a Navy base, right? But I had a special duty assignment that I applied for there. Real quick, because I don't know if you remember. So Pope was going through a whole thing where it was BRAC. I don't know if
Yep.
you know they were
I
closing.
remember.
Yeah,
Yep.
so they were doing BRAC. So I didn't want to get caught up in that where they just sent me
Mhm.
anywhere they wanted to send me. Like I said, I like to take charge of my career, right? So I found a special duty assignment that they had for DLA at Defense Logistics Agency over at Naval Station Norfolk. So that was a cool assignment. I worked directly with the Navy. I was the
Okay.
only Air Force person in that shop, which means that I got all the jokes, the little corny Air Force jokes and all of that. People ask me, how'd you get here? Like, why are you here? Like, okay. But anyway, that's how I learned about the Navy a lot. Um, and then from there, I thought I was gonna get on an airplane and go somewhere far away off the East Coast, but the Air Force was like, nope, it's gonna be cheaper just to move you from here across the bridge or across the tunnel, other
Mhm.
side of the tunnel, the Langley. So found myself at Langley. Langley was cool. I was there for way longer than I would like to have been. Uh, most of my time, a lot of my time there was spent deploying. I deployed 6 times. Um, so been to Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, Qatar, uh, Iraq again, Afghanistan again. So that was the bulk of that. But all in all, like I know a lot of people say bad things about Langley, but I honestly like Langley. Langley's a cool base. Plus, it's on all the Transformers movies and all that. So how can you not like Langley? And then now,
Sure.
you want me to talk about now? Like from Langley to here?
You still got 4.5 minutes.
Okay, so I can straight.
I,
All right,
I
so
I can ask you some questions about Pope,
about
but
Pope.
I can also save it. I can save it as
All
well.
right, you can save it. I'm gonna go ahead and just jump in. So the job that I have now, I had no idea it existed. Um, it's called Civil Air Patrol. So basically, I'm in a one deep slot. I'm the supply person, the supply liaison for the Civil Air Patrol. Now, this is where I'm going to plug the Civil Air Patrol because had I known about the Civil Air Patrol when I was young, like a teenager, I would have joined it. So basically, we have like a cadet program where young kids can join it and they're in it up until I want to say like 18 or something like that. But it's more like a pilot program. Like you learn how to be a lead, you got leadership stuff, but you learn how to fly planes too. So, like I said, I was really into planes when I was little. Had I known about this program, I'd probably be a pilot right now. So I would say I encourage people, especially us, right, to to get into this program and see it because you never know. People don't know that they are interested in something until they actually try it out.
Hmm.
So information seems to stop sometimes when it comes to our community. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of those things that I'm glad I got because I can now be a funnel for that to help somebody else. Because you never know, somebody might want to fly planes and don't know that they can go into this program to learn how to fly
Yep.
planes. Because I met a kid, 16 years old, and he's about to be fully licensed to fly solo on his own at 16. So
Nice.
imagine, you know what I'm saying? So imagine you might find a kid that doesn't know they love to fly, or maybe they do wish they could fly, but don't think the opportunity is there. But that's what I kind of do. So if anybody is interested, hit me up. I got all the information. So Civil Air Patrol. So basically what I do is supply stuff. Same thing. I do it's kind of like what do you call it? What do you call it? Um We do compliance inspections. So I go to different states and do compliance inspections on the reserve units. Make sure they're abiding by. Again, going back to what Sergeant Vargas told me, that black and white, that book. I actually have to do that now in my job now. It's very important that we go by the rules and regulations, all of that stuff. So that's kind of what I do now in a nutshell. But I will say the job that I have now gives me a lot of flexibility to do, and I know we're gonna talk about this later, but to do a lot of what I want to do now as far as my business and all of that stuff. So
Mhm. So you started off telling us that you went to college thinking that you was gonna go to the NBA, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so the Rob Naylor that I knew was on the LRS basketball team.
Oh yeah.
And I have another video out there, RealRam fam, talking about my squadron with they three-peat, maybe even maybe four-time champs.
Yeah, they won again after I left. So
Oh, okay. So at
yeah,
least while I was assigned, they
yeah.
won 3 times. And Rob Naylor was on that team. So go ahead and talk about that a little bit and how you feel. How you feel about that?
Basketball. Well, first of all, shout out to my teammates. I still give all the credit to my teammates. I appreciate y'all, man. Ken Carter. I don't want to name everybody, but I will name the ones I know that talk about it a lot. Ken Carter, Jason Abney, all of those guys. They always remind me of how great we were. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at the Instagram, you'll see it pop up every now and then. But yeah, I want to give all the credit to my teammates. You know what I'm saying? The great coaching we had. They just made me into a better player and let me help them win the championships. No, but then I also have people that still reach out and tell me like, it's weird. Basketball was my identity back then. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, when I thought I was going to the NBA, ball was life. So even when I was deploying, when I went to Kuwait, I was out there collecting ankles and making highlight tapes. You know what I'm saying on everybody. I was out there busting everybody. I'm telling you, like it was crazy. It was a movie. But anyway, Pope, it was great. There's people that still know. It's probably some ankles that I still have in my collection right now from Pope. So if I still have your ankles, contact me. Contact me, and I'll see about getting your ankles back to you. But you have to also buy a shirt or some body butter or a candle as well. So yeah, that, and we had such a cool cool commanders at the time. But I remember Colonel Bradley specifically. He was really big on basketball. So winning those championships and having him come out there and support us. I mean, all the leadership was great, but him specifically, it was fun times. I told you that's where I
Yeah.
met. I still have a pic. So I still have a picture. I wish I had it near me. I would put it up. With Chief Wright, he was trying to guard me, right? And I always remind him to this day, just to be funny, like you can't guard me, right? Like, I have the picture to show it, to prove it. So I have this picture where it's in the newspaper. It's a newspaper clipping where I'm, driving past him, and he looks like he's trying for dear life to guard me, but that's a whole nother story. I'm gonna put it up again. I'm gonna keep putting it up. When you talk about basketball, when we talk about basketball, I used to be very humble when I talk about basketball, except for when I'm on the court. Like people that play against me know that I'm not. Like it might look like I'm being humble, but I'm saying some funny stuff that's probably you don't like.
Well, look, because this is your episode. So
Yeah. Okay, so
but
adding
I
to the
know that my husband was quite the buzzer beater in his day as well. My husband was a buzzer beater.
uh-huh.
But so you was talking about that you knew Chief Wright.
Hmm.
So you saying I guess you have a distinct walk. But so people out there, I used to call Naylor R-Nay because he was out there looking like D Wade. So I was like, look at R-Nay out there. But
People did used to call me D
I
Wade.
digress.
Yeah,
Well,
people
I
did.
know I couldn't call you D Wade, so I was like, look at R-Nay out there.
No,
I
but people did.
have my own buzzer beater.
Hey, but people did, like even when I play pickup ball, they used to say, "Oh, D Wade, whatever." I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I was supposed to actually go play for the Air Force team. I sound like that old guy in the barbershop. Be like, I was supposed to, but no, I was supposed to go play for the all Air Force team. But I ended up getting orders. I really at that time, like I said, I didn't really care. I cared, but I didn't care that much. So like I remember the person that was coaching our team at the time, Sean Walden. He basically told me, "Hey, you're gonna go play for the Air Force. Like, I'm gonna get your application, and you're gonna go." Like, because I was kind of like nonchalant about it at that point. Because I had my son and stuff like that. I wasn't really trying to leave and all that. I was like, basketball's cool, but yeah, fun times, man. Basketball was my favorite sport. I like the way we dribbled up and down the court. But yeah,
Okay. So I digress. I will help you digress. You digress. Okay, so deployments, 6
hmm
deployments. So from Langley, you said. So I'm gonna move forward from there
hmm
and jump all the way down to some of the questions that you say you have some other children.
hmm
So I'll probably let that out the bag. You may not have said that yet.
nah,
So, do
cool.
you have any other children?
Yes. So I have so I'm going to order from the eldest to the babies. Okay. So um I have a 16-year-old, which is, by marriage, but he's mine. And then excuse me, I have a daughter that's 9 years old, going on 25. And then I have my my little baby, which he's not a baby no more. He's 7, going on 27. So yeah, that's the bunch right there.
So, during these deployments at Langley,
hmm
did you happen to, were you able to be present for any other birds?
Yeah, I was. So, and just to be clear, so two of my deployments was actually at Pope, and then the other ones were at Langley. But
Okay.
um, yes, I was present for both of their births.
Okay, good,
My
good,
daughters
good,
were-
good. Do you think that the military shaped or affected your idea of parenting?
Yes, for sure. Because knowing what I know now, right? Look, so while we're going through this thing and this journey in the military, there's a lot of things that we look at as normal. That when you're able to look at it from the outside in instead of the inside out, you see that it's not normal, i.e.,
Mm-hmm.
how we parent, right? Because most of our time and energy is given to the military. The military comes
Yeah.
first, right? Even though they say,
Mm-hmm.
but realistically, you're not able to be a parent like you want to be a parent as much as you want to be a parent. Like you can do your best and you can be there as much as you can, but really you're juggling a lot and you're trying to make accommodations a lot. And you're like, for the most part, to be honest, the CDC or wherever you send your kid for daycare is raising your kid. Because let's be honest, by the time we get off of work and we, do what we do, it's about time to go to bed. How much time did you have to be a parent? So, and then the deployments. The deployments are a whole nother beast because you're gone. Again, that's one of the things that we feel like is normal, right? But it's not normal being away from your kid for 7 months. There's a detachment thing there that happens in that
Yeah.
time frame. So, like my youngest, my son, I deployed literally after he was, how old was he when I deployed? So he was born, and I want to say I left maybe 4 months after he was born. And so when I came back, he was a year old. And even like I used to joke with my wife all the time, like, yo, he don't like me. Right. And I'm like, because we hadn't had a chance to build like a real bond to where he sees me every day and he's able to, formulate that bond.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even for me, I wasn't able to formulate that bond because, it goes both ways. But I mean, when I got back, we worked on it. But there's that thing of when you come back, because they always teach you when you come back, don't do anything. Don't try to jump in too much. You got to kind of
Yep.
slowly reacclimate into the family. So that's the thing that's kind of hard too. Is like you always got to reacclimate into your family again. You got to
Yeah.
reintroduce yourself to your kids again. Like it's just it's to me it's a weird dynamic and it's not normal at all and it's hard. It's really tough. So um I was able to be there as much as I could, but not really. I don't think. Not in my eyes. Like I'm kind of like super dad a little bit. Like I take pride. Like I love being a dad. So not being able to be there was really really tough.
How is your relationship with your kids now?
I think for my 16-year-old, we're good. I don't know with him if it's we have too many other you know, things at play with that. Just because I'm not his biological dad, but we still treat each other like that. But also, like I don't know. So real quick, we have a video where I came back from one of my deployments, and I did one of those videos where I surprised them. You know, the ones that be on the news. We was on the news where I
Hmm.
surprised them at school when I got back. But we're
Okay,
cool.
nice.
Yeah, and then my little ones, we're super close. But like I've had a lot of time to really bond with them since being in a regular everyday Air Force. Which is why I love this job now because I don't have to be subject to that. It's not the same. It's like when I was at Langley with 40 people to deal with and all of that. It's a little different, but yeah, my relationship with my kids is really good. Yeah.
And yeah, we didn't say, we said how long you've been in, but we didn't say what is your rank and pay grade.
Oh, Master Sergeant E7.
Okay. So, what do you think? No, no, no. Do you think that the Air Force helped shape the person that you are today? Which we
Yes,
kind of hit on it already.
yes, yes. And it's so crazy because it's like one of those things where when you're younger and you think you know everything, but then when you grow up you realize you ain't know much as you thought you knew. So like the Air Force, especially getting into the civilian side of things, we talked about this a little bit. So
Hmm.
it's helped me realize that it taught me a lot of leadership qualities, adult qualities. Like, 'cause I grew up in the Air Force, so it's taught me adult qualities. Like, I look at people that don't do certain things, like I don't know, be on time, uh, wake up on time. Like all of that is weird to me when people don't do it. But I'm realizing that that's kind of normal. People aren't always on time. People aren't, those aren't things. But the Air Force kind of shaped me in a way to where that's embedded in me. That's just my lifestyle. So like a lot of stuff that I'm even able to do, like I have friends and people that I know that ask me all the time, like, "Are you sure we got the same 24 hours in a day? Because how do you accomplish all the stuff you do?" And I'm like, well,
Yeah,
because I'm always moving. Like I'm just used to being able task oriented. Like if it's something that got to get done, I'm doing it all day until what I'm saying. Like it's just. And then you think about shift work. Hey, like I said, I've deployed where I had to work 6 days a week, 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts. So now working kind of like for myself a little bit, like on my stuff, it's no different. Like if it got to get done, it got to get done. So that's kind of how the Air Force has taught me. If it got to get done, it got to get done. You know what I'm saying? Just you gotta do it.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. And going back when you said uh Son Vargas, I guess,
mhm.
when she was telling you always go look it up in the reg or help look up in the reg, and you said that helped you learn to go look up the answer.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
so a lot of civilians, they don't know how to go look up the answer. So thank goodness today for Google.
right, right.
Right? At least they got Google, but that's still not helping you learn to
Uh-huh.
go look up the answer.
Yeah. And some people won't even use Google. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it teaches you how to use your resources. Because that's one thing I'm sure you've seen. Like the Air Force will throw you into the fire and say, figure it out. Like I've been put in certain positions, certain jobs where I had no idea what to do or what I'm supposed to be doing. But guess what? You got
Mhm.
to figure it out. Find the resources, find something that's written down or whatever, and figure it out. So that's one of the big things.
My husband, one of did he get it from the military? I think think he did say one of his first supervisors gave him the book, A Message for Garcia, and he gave the book to me,
Mhm.
and he gave it, give it to our sons. And when I read it, like, long ago, like when he was first giving it, and I didn't get it. So
Mhm.
like I didn't get it until he like recently, told our sons. And I'm not gonna tell it to the internet. Y'all need to go get it. But it falls in line with what we're talking about right now.
Mhm.
But uh a person is asked a question, a simple question over and over again. And instead of you repeatedly asking that question,
Mhm.
it's basically um like, how do you want me to do it? So the person keep asking, how do you want me to do it? How do you want me to do it? You need to go figure it out. Like,
Right.
go figure it out. And that's so go get that book.
Yeah, I'm gonna
A
get it.
Message for Garcia.
I'm gonna get it. I'm a reader, so I'm gonna definitely get
Why you telling me? I have a visitor.
it.
You're supposed to be in the bed. You want to say hi to Naylor? He can't hear you, but you want to say hi? Did you hear her excitement?
I can hear. Hi.
Did you heard her excitement?
Uh.
You say hi. Hmm.
Oh, because you got the headphones in. Okay. Hi. How you doing? You about to go to bed? You lucky. I wish I go to bed. I'm tired. All right. Have a good night's sleep.
All right. All right. Now, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, yeah, that Bart. Um, what is one or a few changes that you think the Air Force or even the military can make to be more bearable today?
To be more bearable.
Yeah.
Um.
Actually, you know what? Nuh-uh, I skipped the question. I skipped the question. Was there a time that you had to overcome adversity?
In the military.
Hmm.
Uh. Yeah. So like, I have a complex answer to this, right? Because I feel like I've been overcoming adversity like my whole life, right? Because you don't mind if I go kind of deeper on it. So,
Hey, this
all right,
you, this you.
all right. Um, so for me, I'm on this like with my brand and everything. Like everything I do has a purpose, right? And a lot of people don't know where that purpose really comes from. So, like I mentioned earlier, like I lost my mom when I was 8 years old, right? And that was a trauma that I experienced that I didn't realize was kind of like one of those reverberating traumas. Like it pretty much had a you seen the movie Baby Boy where Melvin had his arm around Jody neck and it was like he was like choking him. That's how that trauma had me for a long time. And I didn't realize it. Even growing up, like we always think we're good, we're okay. I wasn't good or okay for a long time, even going through the military. Uh so now you have me going into the military, and I'm sure there's a lot of people because everybody has a life before they went into the military. So now you have a bunch of people who have different traumas and different stories and all of that, trying to make it in this different, I guess, a different world, you could say, right? Uh, So for me, that was hard in and of itself, just being able to navigate being in the military while I guess you could say being broken in a sense, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because in a sense you're
Mm-hmm.
broken, and so like that, and I kind of knew it. I knew it, but I didn't know it. Like I could feel it that there was something wrong. But as I started going through a lot more, and like in the military, a lot of stuff is unforgiving. Like people do stuff people don't really get to know the person enough to understand the why of how they are.
Yeah.
So that kind of so to answer your question, so I think that's one thing the Air Force and probably any industry really needs to do better is understanding people and understanding the why, so they can pretty much deal with people on a people level more so than like we're a machine or something like that. Because I can remember like feeling like, oh man, they want me to be like a machine or whatever. Like I got these feelings. I don't even know how to deal with these feelings. I don't know how to do what you're saying because I'm already like I'm not in a place to do that. So that's one of the things I think the military can do better. Now I'm not in the everyday, I guess what they call the real Air Force. So I don't know what changes they made as far as like mental health and stuff like that. But I think that should be more of a emphasis in the military, and it shouldn't be where they're talking at you. Like that's one of the things that we noticed. Like for people who don't know, like me and some my fellow airmen, we started before I left Langley. We started an organization called Strong Together, and so basically what that was, it looked like a group therapy session, pretty much. So we had to go through, we had to present it to behavioral, to BHOP, behavioral health, and all of them, just to make sure that we were within the regulations of what we could do, especially since we're not therapists, right? So like,
Mm-hmm.
but luckily for me, like my wife, she's actually a therapist, so she was part of the team. Plus, so we had that on our side. So basically, what we did is we took the what do you call it, like the resiliency days that they do, that
Right.
felt like
Right.
mandatory. It felt like mandatory here. Listen to this, as
Yes.
opposed. But and we were like, yo, like we need to do something that's more so like gonna help you, because I never felt. I'm gonna be honest. I never felt helped after a resiliency day. That's just me
Yeah.
personally. But apparently, a lot of other people felt the same way, because when they came to our sessions, I mean, they echo the same sentiment. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
we kind of carried it a different way. We put it out that we advertised it as a voluntary instead of a hey, you're gonna go here, and it was like the icebreaker, the whole nine, like the whole like people, a safe place for people. You know what I mean? So they were able to open up. So I would like to see them. I think the military has to do better at implementing more programs like that. Like we weren't able to keep it together just because a bunch of us we PCS'd and split up and went to different places,
Mm-hmm.
which I wish we could have kept it. But it was a big program, and it was like lauded by everybody. Like it's something that they really wanted to make into a big thing. And I don't know if they're doing more of that now, because I'm not. My ear isn't really to that. Um, but yet go to that and treating people like people instead of you know a rank, or do this and do that type of thing.
I saw it and I thought it was good and I wish they would continue it too. And I don't think that they are. People they fall back. Big Air Force, well, shoot. I don't see big Air Force either. I see joint. I see joint bases. And so they fall back on M flag.
Uh-huh.
So sorry. Military and family life and wait.
I know what you
Military
said.
family life and readiness centers. So
And,
that's for all of the branches where it's pretty much the equivalency for civilians is where you go to get all of your resources for mental health. That's
mhm.
that's what it is.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I understand the why, like why they want to keep it, because I mean, this ordinance, they're paying these people provide a
Yeah.
service, right? So if you start having a bunch of things like what we created, then what do you really? I guess they look at it like, what do we really have these for?
Yeah.
Plus, you have professional. Because like one of my concerns, to be honest, and that's why I'm glad we had like licensed therapists there because I'm not trained to handle somebody that has a mental breakdown in the middle of a session. You know what I'm saying? Like if they go off
Yeah.
the so that, and I think looking at it now, I think it's good to have those parameters just because everybody's not going to take the proper precautions to make sure it's done the right way. So if you have an
Mhm.
influx of it, it's probably going to go. But I also on the other end of the coin, I think it's good because you have airmen helping airmen, and it doesn't feel forced. It feels like a safe place. It feels like a relatable place, and it feels like. I mean, I can definitely attest to the fact that we were helping people. Like we really were
Yeah.
helping people. So. I mean, but of course, it don't stop with us. They still got to go to NFLAC and all of that and get their real, the other help. But it was just an avenue. So I think that the Air
Yeah.
Force should, even if it replaces the resiliency day, that starts to feel kind of like mm, we're out of work. But
Yeah. Yeah. Once we got closer together and I got my license up and running, I was like, dang, I want to join Naylor's team. And then you was like, yeah, we're not doing it. I was like,
but
oh
we tried
man.
though, like we
Yeah.
tried, but it was hard just because everybody was so decentralized, like across the
Yeah.
country type
And then
stuff.
COVID.
And
So
COVID, and it's hard. Yeah, COVID really messed it up because we couldn't. It was hard to get a venue, or if we could get a venue, it's hard to get people to come because nobody really wanted to show up in person with COVID.
yeah.
With the Rona running
So
around. But I definitely want to spark something like that back up because I can do something like that in my in my shop now. You know what I'm saying? I got the venue that people can come by and we can do stuff like that there.
yeah. Yep. Okay. So was that also your adversity story tied in together?
Um, Yeah, kind of, sort of, yeah. Because, like, I mean, adversity, I can toss in like adversity too. Like, deployments is adversity, right?
Hmm.
Um, I can honestly say also that um, I have experienced or seen, even if it was third hand, there's racial biases, right?
Hmm.
That creates a form of adversity. Like, people want to act like it doesn't exist within the Air Force or the military, but it does. Um, I remember one time I was deployed, I almost lost my stripe before I put it on because of a situation where somebody thought that they crossed those racial lines and was acting a certain way, and I almost had the spirit of the ancestors jumped in my fist, and I was about to. But luckily somebody grabbed me and was like, "He's not worth it." Blah blah blah. Blah. So yeah, that was. But yeah, that's adversity in and of itself too. Like just the Air Force is at the military. It's at like I didn't realize making it this far would be as easy and hard at the same time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you? I know what it means at my house. What What does that mean? It's easy and hard.
So it's on different spectrums. Like, so maintaining a family structure is hard because I mean you're not really in. I think maintaining the family is hard in the military. Because like what we spoke about before, like we're always the military is number one. We're gone. Like even if we're there physically, we're probably gone mentally because you're thinking about something about you got what you got doing at work or whatever. The deployments, adversity, dealing with other people. That's another thing. Especially the further up you get in rank, you're dealing with your problems and your life and your issues, but you're also dealing with other people's problems and issues, which is cool, right? Because we're here to help people. But at the same time, as a real human, that's still a lot of weight to carry. So that's adversity in and of itself, trying to deal with five people who have issues and problems, figure out their problems while you still trying to figure out your problem at home. So like, yeah, that's been a lot. Which is why again I'm glad I have the job that I have now because I'm a one deep slot. I'm not a supervisor of anybody anymore. So I can kind of decompress a little bit.
Okay. Trying to see if I got a follow up. That would be. Nah, because I would probably be. I could have you all night with that. Well, what I will say, what I will ask is management, being now that you're at management level and dealing with other people, and the racial component, right? Okay, no. Okay, so like I said, I know in my household what that means, that it's easy and hard. The promotion rates within your AFSC versus his AFSC. Once you get to your pay grade, right? How do you feel, or what do you feel your role, your representation, like what does that mean for others below you? Do y'all, first of all, even have high promotion rates?
I've seen it ramp up in the last couple years. But like I guess it goes through its ebbs and flows where it's like high promotion rate, low promotion rate, or whatever. But I know, as a now old head in the Air Force, promotion rates weren't anywhere like what I see right now. At least what I see, it seems like it's almost like people expect to make master with it like as soon as they come in the Air Force at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like they be in 3 years, like, oh, if I make master, I'm mad. Which, I'm exaggerating obviously, but I'm just saying like they expect to make rank super fast because I think the promotion rates are so high. For me, I think it was kind of slower moving, like as I was coming up. And I'm sure people that are older than me or us would say it was even slower when they were coming up. Because, back then a lot of people didn't even make it to master. You know what I'm saying? And people made it to tech and was like, cool, I made it to tech. That's an accomplishment, which it is. But I'm just saying, like now, it's a little different. I know people that have been in maybe like 11 years in their master. For me, that's like what, right? So, what was the other part of the question? You said, "What is it?"
Representation, but if the promotion rates are high, one would think that it's probably not a big deal. Whereas like in our AFSC and his AFSC specifically,
it was a big deal.
When
right?
the promotion rates are low, making it to master and stuff, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to think. So when like I said before, like when I came in, I was standing up and clicking my heels for a senior airman. So a master sergeant was like the Wizard of Oz, right? Like when I saw a master sergeant, I was like, oh, that's a master sergeant. Like they didn't even touch the ground when they were walking. Like they was floating across through the building. And then they also used to have their offices. So like they were tucked off. So like if you saw a master sergeant, you knew something was either wrong or I don't know, for whatever reason they just out and about. But you didn't really see master sergeants like that. And it could just be the dynamic of whatever the workplace is too. I don't know, because I know at Langley we were more in like an open area. So I mean, master sergeants are more visible. Like I know I was very visible.
And I'm saying black ones.
Oh, you talking about reputation like that? Okay. In my AFSC, there's a lot of us anyway.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like I used to wonder, like, are there certain AFSCs that they put us in versus other ones? Because there's another dynamic that I noticed. One day I did some research and I was looking at the dynamic between the enlisted side and the officer side as far as representation goes. And it's crazy. Like it's very unbalanced. Very unbalanced. And I I wish I could look it up now and give you the actual numbers that it is today, but I'm sure it's not that much different. It's like leadership wise in our AFSC, there's a lot of representation for us. And it may depend on the base too. Like you may go to a certain base and it's not a lot of representation, but the bases I've been to is a lot, which helps, to be honest, because I feel like that relatability factor is there. Because there's a lot of like I said, I've seen situations where young African, American women having to deal with somebody who can't relate to them in their leadership chain, and it could have went very differently for them as far as you know getting in trouble or whatever the case may be if they didn't have somebody that actually knows them step in. Like I've had to step in a couple times to diffuse something that you know how they are. Like people look at a black young black girl and say, "Oh, she got an attitude problem." Like I'm like, no, she don't have an attitude problem. She just that's her demeanor. Like you can't hold that against her, but they want to hold it against her because they don't relate to her. So that's good to have that representation at the leadership rank because we're able to negate any nonsense that could happen. And I've done
Yeah.
it a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, mm, mm, mm. You already led to this, so now is your time.
Okay.
Did the military prepare you for what you do today?
Absolutely. So I'm gonna be honest. Like I feel like I'm one of those people that was I don't want to know if you can say lucky or whatever, but like the way my brain is wired, like I feel like I've always been wired with an entrepreneurial mindset. Like I've never been scared to try something and do something and put it out there. If it fails or whatever, I don't care. Like that's just me. But certain intent, like certain things that I may have been lacking or may have been okay at, the military has made me really good at. Such as like leadership is one of them. Like building leaders is something the military does well. Especially if you're already kind of like trending in that direction and you just need to be polished up. Like I feel like I'm one of those people. So it helped me to segue into my life after the military at as a entrepreneur, business owner, because I'm able to, like I said before, a task needs to be done. I'm doing it. Time management,
Mhm.
balancing my life. You know what I'm saying? Balancing everything because that's one thing the military does is teaches you how to do work-life balance. And again, you have to be open to it. But once you're open to it, you can learn these things. Um, And so yeah, it's helped me. It's definitely helped me in that way. Um, balance is a big one.
So you're not gonna say what you do today, huh?
Oh, okay. Boom. So
Okay.
what I do today? No, I gotta say what I do today. What I do today is
Oh wait. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
because
Go
it's
ahead.
gonna be a whole backstory to what I do today and why I do what I do today. Because I
It's
gotta go through
okay. It's
all
all
the
right
shit.
because I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it all flow. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So like I said before, so I started writing poetry and doing art and stuff when I was like yay high. I was little, right? I used to draw a lot. Like I used to draw shoes and stuff. Again, I designed my own first shoe for when I went to the NBA that I never went to. So, and this was when I was probably like, I don't know, I was in elementary school. But yeah, because I was a sneakerhead. So I designed my own first shoe. I just knew everybody was gonna be wearing my first shoe. But anyway, so art has always been my thing. So like everything that I'm interested in, I learned how to blend it together all ever since then. So entrepreneurship, art, all of that. So then when I came into the military, an airman paycheck ain't that much. So and mind you, I had a child and I was married at the time because I how that goes. So I ain't had no money pretty much, what I'm saying to you. So what I did was uh I learned how to be an entrepreneur. I learned how to try to get money in a different way. So um, I started doing graphic design for people, but I was using Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, which is not a good avenue to choose to do graphic design work for people. but it worked at the time. It worked. I ain't gonna lie. Like I got paid my first job I did for a realtor. I still got her business cards today that I made, some of them. Because I like to use them as like motivation, kind of like look where I came from type of
Mhm.
thing. So I got paid some decent money for that. So that at that point I figured out, okay, well, what do the professionals use to make this stuff? So I learned Photoshop. Like I'm self-taught in all of this stuff. So like I taught myself how to use Photoshop. A lot of crying and want to throw my computer and sweat and tears and all that that went into that. But I'm really good at Photoshop today. So that's why. So I went from that, and then my friend and I started a magazine. I don't know if everybody like we started a magazine called Empire Radio Magazine. Um,
Oh, Empire Radio. Why I keep thinking Greenlight Graphics?
oh, because that was my graphic design company, Greenlight Graphics.
Okay.
Then I went to Empire Radio Magazine, and those were kind of coexisting at the same time until the magazine pretty much kind of became an avenue for me to be able to do everything. Like I was able to do my graphic design, write, like creative writing. Um, I was doing interviews. I started doing interviews, um, which is weird because all right. So quick little story. The first interview I ever did, and this was before I started the magazine. I got cool with this guy. So you remember when this is before like Facebook and all that. So you remember like message boards and all that, like little any website that had like a message board was like next level to us. Like, oh, you could talk to other people in different states and all that. So this guy, this guy started his website, and I thought we thought it was cool as I don't know what we was talking, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm about to start getting celebrities on this website." I was like, "Cool." So he was like, "Man, I'm gonna do interviews." I was like, "Cool." So he asked me to do the interview, and it was with Lloyd. You know the singer Lloyd.
Yeah, yeah.
So I never did an interview before. I never talked to no celebrity before. I was like, "All right, I'll do it though." Like I said, I ain't scared of nothing. Whatever, let's do it. So I wish I could find an audio too, because I know it sucked. But my first interview was with Lloyd, and it was so crazy because he's like one of my favorite artists at the time too. But I don't get starstruck for real. I probably get starstruck if like I don't know Allen Iverson walked in my house or something like that. But but yeah, I was like, all right, so boom, so that was another entrepreneurial venture of mine. The magazine, y'all, I mean, y'all can Google it. Just Google Empire Radio Magazine. You can see a bunch of stuff pop up. We did interviews with. I mean, we talked like everybody. Like it just got too celebrity heavy for me because that wasn't the initial purpose. But my homeboy Jay, he's still doing it. He's still trying, trying to modernize it. So shout out to him. I'm like I told him, I help any way I can. It's just not my purpose right now. Uh, but then that's when I segued into just writing poetry, especially around COVID time. There was a lot of stuff going on. I started getting really into my poetic bag just to cope, and that was my coping mechanism. So I have two books right now. Conversations in the Mirror on the Ladder. That's my first book. Then I have Heavy is the Head, which is the second book. Um, and you can get Conversations in the Mirror on the Ladder on Amazon actually right now. And then Heavy is the Head, you can only get it. I have those. I learned my lesson from self-publishing on Amazon. They like to take your firstborn and a couple of your toes. Uh, but then I'm a creative person. So like from poetry, I started getting well, I was doing, shirt apparel for people too at this around that same time. So I just merged everything. So I started putting, positive messages and stuff like that onto apparel and doing business apparel for people. So like if you have a company, I can put your logo on it, whatever the case may be. So everything just started falling into place as far as everything I do. And that leads us to now where I have my books. I started doing aromatherapy stuff because I used to be addicted to Bath and Body Works. But then when I got into the holistic side of everything, I stopped doing, and I learned how to make, my own candles. I use soy wax because it's a cleaner burn instead of what they use, the paraffin wax. Um, and then as far as aromatherapy goes, like body butters and stuff like that, um, I learned how to do that from a holistic side, so it's healthier for you too. So everything that I'm into creatively as well, I made it into a business, which leads us into Rob Naylor Jr. LLC, which is why like people always ask why I don't have like a catchy name like outside of just my name, but it's because that's the umbrella. That's everything that I do. Like it's personal. Like it's all personal. So it's not something I'm doing as a hustle. It's not. It's all authentic and it's personal. That's why it's named Rob Naylor Jr. LLC.
Okay.
I know that was a
Yes,
lot.
it is.
I know.
And I use it. So if y'all haven't been paying attention to things that I post, I am an avid customer. And you
I
see
appreciate
he's representing his stuff. He's got all his logos and everything going. So yes,
it. Yeah.
we
No,
use Rob Naylor Jr. products around here. And I thought I had a hat behind me, but I don't.
listen, it's all. You know what's funny? Like people really gravitate to the no bad energy because I mean, obviously, I mean, I'm really big into meditation and energy and stuff like that. I know some
Like
people
I
have a
said.
weird. Oh yeah, my card. I think I think people I think people get it misconstrued and misunderstood as far as like how energy, meditation, and all that goes, especially people who are religious, which I get it, but at a certain point, I think people have to really open up their mind a little bit, understand and, and understand what's like tangible and all that stuff. So, like, I think energy is tangible, right? So, like, even dealing with little kids, no bad energy is a mantra that I came up with, and it actually works for my kids too. Like, it's just a reminder, no bad energy, right? So, like, if they acting crazy or whatever, and if they start remembering or repeating the mantra or whatever, no bad energy, it has a way of calming you down. And so I decided to put it on like as the flagship logo for or the overarching mantra for my whole brand. Because I know some people think that's the brand name. That's not the brand name. It's just the mantra for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes,
'Cause,
hey,
look,
it
I did
makes
a
sense.
last at the end of last year. I did a vendor event at Dr. Umar's school. I know a lot of people be like, "Does the school even exist?" Yeah, it exists. I was there. Like I did I did the whole event there. But I can't vouch for the whole school now. Like that, I don't want to get that misconstrued. Like, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But when I was walking around, I had my No Bad Energy hat, the No Bad Energy candles. I got the No Bad Energy body butters. You know what I'm saying? I make all the labels and all that. By the way, that's the graphic design side. So everybody was saying it all day. Like Umar, Dr. Umar, everybody. When they seen, so I had my jacket that had no bad energy. Like every time they saw me or when I walked, there was no bad energy like that. It just catches on like that. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like that's my thing.
cool. So if anybody is looking to join the military,
Hmm.
which way I want to go with this? Mm, no, first, what's one misconception about the Air Force that you would like, or your job
Hmm.
that you would like to get for people to understand?
Oh well, number one in the military, we're not rich. All right. I know people think that the military get paid millions of dollars and they want to do tax cuts and cut the military funding. Hey, listen, we're not rich. At least I'm not. So that's a misconception. I think that's the only one that I could think of, to be honest. Because like even dealing with younger airmen, I don't see a lot of younger airmen coming in with a weird. I mean, they're young people, so everybody gonna be a little weird to me because I'm an old head now. But yeah, that's the only misconception that I could think of at by and large, we ain't rich.
I don't think that one ever gonna go away. And then anybody that wants to join the Air Force or the military, because you already started mentioning about don't be afraid and travel and everything, but that's one thing that you would tell somebody that wants to join the Air Force or military.
Ooh, If anybody is interested in or thinking about joining the Air Force or the military, I would say one of the biggest things is to make sure that you have a flexible mindset. Like, be
Mhm.
flexible, be able to adapt, and let's see. Oh, always remember that it's like the Air Force. Everybody's journey in the Air Force military is different. Like, I mean, obviously there's some that are congruent, but like for the most part, everybody's journey is different. So whatever somebody else says to you about their like what it's gonna be like, they have no idea. They have an idea, but that doesn't mean that's what your journey is gonna look like. So you get out of it what you put into it. I always encourage people to do their research, do their due diligence, try to understand your path and what you want to do, and then just follow your roadmap. Like, I got my degrees from the Air Force. You know what I'm saying? Paid for it. Like, I got degrees for out there. I didn't, I wasn't big into school when I came in, but going out, I got degrees. Um, and that's part of the adaptable part. I understand life is going life. You know what I'm saying? Things are going to change. Don't make temporary decisions for what they say. Don't make a temporary
Long
decision.
terms, I think it's long term decisions for temporary situation.
There you go. That one. A lot of people do that. Do not do that in the military. You understand? We're going. I remember at Pope, I could go off base and get the newest year Mercedes, whatever, because they're gonna approve me for it. Or any situation. Just don't jump into stuff. Just take your time, live life, and let life, work out. That's what I say.
Good, especially that everybody's everybody's situation is different, and that's hopefully what everyone is going to gain by the end of this series. You
Yeah,
know, because
yeah.
right now you're the second supply person, and your
Nice.
story already is different
From
from the
somebody else.
first.
Like, yeah. And I
So
can actually and without put my son, like my son, he's, man, it made me feel like I'm up there, but he's 20, right? Obviously I've been in 20 years, he's 20. So he was in Korea, and he always calls me just for advice and stuff like that, because he knows that I have experience in the military, so he asked me for military advice. But I try to separate Master Sergeant Naylor from Dad, but sometimes it's
mhm,
hard because he's asking me questions on behalf of what should I do in the military, and I find
mhm.
myself going in and out of Master Sergeant Naylor mode with him. Um, but one of the things I had to tell him, because of course he's 20, so he's trying to live life fast, and he's in England now. He's in England now. He left Korea. He made it. He made it through Korea, and now he's in England. But he's
Yeah,
trying to live life fast, and he wants to get a car and all of that stuff. I'm like, bro, slow down. Like, just calm down. And he wants to make those decisions that'll put you in a bind later, just because it's. And I'm like, listen, slow down. Everything will come.
yeah. And it's like, why do you need a car? You
I
gotta think.
actually,
You gotta think about it, and especially in today's society,
yes.
you gotta think about why do you even need a car right now? Because first of all, where are you stationed? What is your job? How long are you
Mhm.
gonna be there? But in today's society, y'all Ubering everywhere.
That and
You really need a car? No.
I told, like, the way the military culture is set up. All he has to do is let his leadership know his situation, and they're gonna find him a ride. I know it's not the most comfortable thing to jump in somebody else's car, rely on somebody
Mhm.
else, but at least do it for a little while until you can, get what you need to get. But he doesn't like to ask for help. That's the independent part that he just,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's such a good thing that me and my husband think differently.
Hmm.
Cause I had a car because my mama had me get a car when I got to when I got to my first base. We drove there in my new car,
Hmm.
but I I wasn't taught anything, and I wasn't airman basic,
Mm.
so I wasn't taught anything. So that first check, that check on the first, I paid my car note. Like I paid the entire car note.
Yeah, see,
So
you
I
were
was
17.
broke. I was
You were
broke.
17 years old. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, I turned 18 in tech school.
Yeah, either way though, like
But yeah, so I didn't know about paying half and half for the car note,
yeah.
So my behind was just broke. So I mean, then I went and got the star card, like
And then you put yourself in a constant start. Yeah, that's what we
yeah,
talk about. Like as far as our culture, right? Like we champion this thing of like when you turn 18, you out of here.
you out
But
of here. But
but
nah, my husband, he is like, we teaching these kids, so
yeah,
like they know stuff, so they ain't gonna be out there like I was out
yeah.
there just
Because in
broke.
actuality, right? In actuality, is a person really ready for the real world at the age of 18?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
there's
Not
girls
saying,
out there
and
just
I'm not saying,
hungry.
yeah, I'm not saying you gonna sit up here and live with me for your whole life, but I'm here to help. Like, if you're working toward a goal, I got you. We good. Let's go. This ain't no Holiday Inn Express, but I will help you because a lot of other cultures they do that, and we make fun of them.
Mhm, mhm,
But
yeah,
but then we turn around and complain that they further ahead in certain areas. So like
yeah,
we can't have it both ways. So we got to figure out strategically what makes sense. And I think like my I can honestly my 20-year-old, I'm glad he made the decision going to Air Force because I feel like that's kind of a safer, safer way for him to enter adulthood. But like my 16-year-old, I'm like, I don't know what he's gonna do because I ain't gonna kick him out at 18, but he wants to go, which is good because it's like he wants to go figure out life. But now I'm in a position where I gotta effectively guide him in the right direction. Because
mhm,
if you don't have a real path, like he going to I state your name, he going to some of my military, just like my other one. Because I ain't gonna be losing sleep at night with him out here in these streets, man. I know how life is.
yeah, yeah. So okay, I can I can keep people forever, but yeah, it's my bedtime.
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah.
so um, two more questions, and these are my general questions. So it's breakfast time at your house, and you're serving us. We gonna have pancakes, or we gonna have waffles.
Oh, if it's breakfast time at my house and I'm serving y'all, we having pancakes. I'm a pancake king.
Okay. And what's the one thing that you're gonna do for your self care this week?
Oh, um, it's a lot of things I do for my self care. This week. So tomorrow specifically, I'm going back to my shop at 4848 Battery Lane, Suite
Mm,
100, to do some artwork, like just actual artwork, so I can put it on my walls. So like that's like my happy place. You know what I'm saying? Like when I start doing artwork, I don't know if I'm gonna paint
mhm,
or if I'm just going. I don't know what, but it's gonna be maybe digital art. I don't know, but it's gonna be self care in that way.
okay. So, what I forgot to do with everyone else. So what are some social medias or whatever you want to throw out there for the people to find you?
Okay, cool. This is like my favorite part of every interview, right? So social media, I'm
Let me
really
put
only on.
it in the chat,
Put it in the chat.
and then of course I'm gonna also put this in the description box on the notes.
Okay. All right. So it's Instagram. I'm usually on Instagram, right? More than anything. So at Rob Naylor Jr. on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok. Like I post on
Are you
TikTok, but I
on
don't be
my?
on TikTok scrolling. Let me put it in now.
Yeah, look like it ain't making me let me do it.
All right. And then
Okay.
TikTok should be the same at Rob Naylor Jr. Put TikTok. That's how you spell TikTok.
Add a destination. What?
And I'm on X. Yeah, you know what X is?
Yeah.
I gotta ask you. Yeah, I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
It is the same thing at Rod. So all my social media is at Rod Naylor Jr. for real. So at Rod Naylor Jr. And that's really my social media is now my official website. You can find me there. RobNaylorJr.com. Boom. And that's pretty much it.
Okay.
But the biggest thing I'm pushing now outside of social media, because I'm trying to get into the more personable side of marketing and talking to people. And so I'm doing a lot more face to face, more, shaking hands and kissing babies and high fiving dogs and stuff like that. So basically, my physical location is where I really want to push everybody to, because that's my baby, that's my bread and butter. Because if you come there, there's a lot more you can do. You can buy some of the stuff you see on the website, but then I also have my actual lab there, my shop, where I can make stuff, with shirts and stuff. I can make it right then, maybe like within an hour, of course, but like on the spot type stuff. So I can make your shirt. Same thing with any aromatherapy product. I can make it right there. You could do custom fragrances if you want to. So that's where like I like to say, all the magic happens. So I like to get people in the door over there. So 4848 Battery Lane, Suite 100. And all they have to do is call. They can call my business line, actually, which is, I haven't memorized it yet. It's kind of, I got overbrain. So all right, so they can call my business line at 202 810 3258. And I do like free consultations. So basically, if you have a job or a project you want done, call me, text me, whatever. We could talk about it. And I can let you know, how long it'll take, what the price is. Because some people already have logos and stuff, like how you already have your logo. If you were to call me, the price will obviously be different than somebody who I have to create their logo or create their design. So I can give an accurate quote based on quantities and all of that stuff if we talk about it first. So.
Okay. Well, all right. That is going to be a wrap. So I thank you for tonight's interview. It's part 3, and everybody else stay tuned for many, many more that are to come. Y'all know what it is.
I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. I would like to thank my guests for joining me, or simply thank you for watching the pre-recorded episode. No matter what your birth order is, how you self-identify, and whether you like pancakes or waffles. If this is the first time you're hearing it today, I want you to know that you are loved. You were put here for a purpose that only you can fulfill. Until next time, take care of yourself. Be sure that you like and share the videos, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notifications bell. This is RealRam out.